Your Honor, at this time, the defense would like to call Dr. Ash DeRosa to the stand. Chris Sample for the defense, ma'am. See? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please introduce yourself to the members of the jury, spelling your last name for the record.
My name is Dr. Ash DeRosa. DeRosa is D-E-R-O-S-A.
Dr. DeRosa, what do you do for a living?
I'm a professor of health policy and management at MSU.
What education do you have that allows you to hold such a position?
I have a master's in public health from Tufts University and a doctorate in health policy and management from MSU.
How long have you been in your field?
I began as a research assistant for Tufts in 1993. I've been working for 21 years total. On the side, I've been a professor for 12 years at MSU. And for the past 10 years, I've served as a co-director of the Midland Center for Responsible Gun Policy and Legislation.
Dr. DeRosa, what is your role in today's case?
I was hired by Hayden Duran to give an opinion as to whether Sydney's parents properly stored their firearm.
Are you being compensated for your work today?
Yes. I worked over 75 hours preparing my findings and conducting research for today's case. I am being compensated $500 an hour, which is double my usual rate.
Why are you being paid double your usual rate?
I wasn't really comfortable testifying against the parents of the deceased about proper gun storage.
Now, before we get into your work in today's case, did you have sufficient facts and data?
Yes, I did.
Did you use reliable principles and methods in your field?
Yes, as I always do.
And did you apply those principles and methods reliably to the facts of today's case?
Yes, I did.
How did you begin your work for today?
I began by checking into what type of firearms the Parks owned.
What type of firearm did Ms. Park own?
I discovered during my work for the case that the Parks purchased a 6-shot 9mm revolver from the A.D. Baker & Co., which I have found to be a reputable gun manufacturer.
Where did Ms. Park store her firearm?
The firearm was stored in a small safe.
What kind of safe was it?
It was a steel safe made by Bellucci Safe Company. The safe by design is impenetrable without the combination of the lock.
Now, where was that safe stored inside the home?
The safe was stored in the bedroom of Andy and Lee Park.
Now, Doctor, was it safe to store that weapon in their bedroom?
No, it was not.
Why?
Placing the safe where their daughter had free access was not an ideal location because of the risk that is presented of Sydney obtaining the firearm.
What kinds of risks are involved with Sydney having access to that firearm?
Since Sydney has not had proper training for the use of a firearm, she would present risk to all parties of the household. Also, Sydney's age group is the most likely to die from a firearm incident.
I'd like to turn your attention now, Doctor, away from the gun itself into the bullets of that gun. Now, what is the general rule on bullet storage?
The best place for the storage of bullets would be in a separate place from the gun and out of the reach of children.
Now, for the facts in today's case, where was the bullet stored for Ms. Park's firearm?
I can't really answer that with certainty because there is some confusion for where the bullets were stored.
What kind of confusion did you find in your work?
When looking in the different accounts people involved with this firearm, according to Andy Park, she claimed to be storing the bullets on a shelf in the garage. But Danny Brooke Andy's babysitter, he said that he has looked on the shelf.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Your Honor, may I respond? Pursuant to Rule 703, experts are allowed to rely on otherwise inadmissible evidence as long as they relate to a conclusion. This doctor is relaying certain evidence otherwise inadmissible, but he will be relaying it to a conclusion at the end of this direct examination. Pursuant to that rule, it's allowed to come in.
Response.
Pursuant to case law Richards v. Mississippi Barbecue, experts are not allowed to simply be conduits of hearsay. They have to relate a hearsay statement to a conclusion. Now, we have not heard a conclusion from Mr. DeRosa to know that these statements will be relayed to a specific conclusion, and right now, these statements are hearsay.
Well, normally I would overrule your objection. I'm gonna cut you a break today. Since this individual has not even been tendered as an expert, he cannot give expert opinion or the rules that you relay in 703.
Your Honor, pursuant to Rule 702, the state amendments, we're not allowed to directly tender witnesses as experts as long as we lay certain foundation. They use reliable principles and methods, and if they have sufficient facts and data, and if they used it reliably to the facts in today's case, then they will be informally recognized as an expert. And prior to this direct examination, I asked those foundational questions for him to be recognized as an expert. But in this state amendments, we're not allowed to formally do so.
May I hear your comment?
Yes.
Well, like I said, Richards v. Mississippi Barbecue says that these hearsay statements need to be related to a conclusion. Now, we've heard no evidence of this witness's conclusion, therefore these statements right now are hearsay, and he is being used as a conduit to those statements.
All right, well, I will overrule your objection and allow him limited latitude to get to that conclusory statement.
Yes, Your Honor.
Overrule.
Yes, Your Honor. Dr. DeRosa, you were just talking about some confusion that was in the case. Can you please repeat your answer for the clarification of the jury?
Yes, I can. When looking in the different accounts, people involved with the firearm, according to Andy Park, she claimed to be storing the bullets on a shelf in the garage. But Danny Brooks, Andy's babysitter, he said that he has looked on the shelf before and stated that the bullets were not there.
Dr. DeRosa, I would like to turn your attention now, lastly, to the combination to that safe. Now, what are the general rules when it comes to the combination to a safe which stores a firearm?
The combination should be kept secret from everyone. Should also be stored in a secure environment, and the combination should not be easily guessable.
How well did Ms. Park do in abiding by these rules?
Andy Park did keep the combination to herself, but she failed to keep the combination secure and in the strength of the combination.
Can you explain to the members of the jury how exactly she failed these rules?
Firstly, Andy Park kept the combination written down on a piece of paper and kept it in an unlocked drawer, which was located in the guest bedroom. If anyone were to find this paper, it would not take them long to figure out what the numbers were for. The combination should have been kept in a place that was not accessible to Sydney or her friends. Secondly, Andy made the combination the birthday of the 3 members of her family, which is not advisable because it could be very easy to guess and is very memorable. In this case, Sydney was able to figure out the combination rather quickly just by seeing the numbers on the sheet of paper.
Dr. DeRosa, after all the work you've done for today's case, were you able to come to a conclusion with a reasonable degree of scientific certainty?
Yes.
What is that conclusion?
I have concluded that Andy Park did not follow a few of the general rules on storing firearms. Altogether, he failed to safely store the firearm, which resulted in their daughter being able to retrieve it.
Thank you for your time, Dr. DeRosa. At this time, Your Honor, I have no further questions.